And welcome to another edition of the CSU Lakers show at the Loch with Coach Vince Alexander. We want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight as usual. We got another action-packed show. We got another additional guest, another Hall of Fame coach to go with Mr. Vince Alexander as well. Coach Alexander, we got Coach Andre Anthony on with us, who's the associate head coach for Clayton State. And these two guys right here have done an amazing job of turning around the culture. Listen, I have a front row seat pretty much every game to see what these guys are doing. And we're doing this show so people not only can see what they're doing on the court, but we started this show to talk about some of the cultural changes that they're making at Clayton State to make this an A1 program and to be one of the upper echelon competitors in the Peach Belt. So tonight, I want to welcome Coach Anthony. How you doing today? As long with Coach Alexander, you know you're a fixture on the show. We got Coach Anthony, the new parent. I would say congratulations.
Dad.
How you guys
doing? Doing good, man. It's a pleasure to be on, the show, man, and really excited about this thing.
Listen, man, I'm excited as well, because, I've watched for the last 3 years you two build this program, to where it is now, and to see that it's slowly getting there and the excitement, the first show with Coach Alexander, we had a great talk, how we talked about the atmosphere of the Clark Atlanta game. And, the atmosphere of the Morehouse game and the atmosphere of the Miles game. And you can see people are starting to tune in, and you guys are starting to pack the gym, which is a testament to what you guys are doing.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. You've been there since we've gotten here. And
I got blocked out again. I forgot what I did last time, Dave.
You're good. You're good.
You're on now.
You're on. We lost him. He'll be right back. But, while Coach A comes back, man, it's been – I love this part because, we always talk about this as part of the grind. And with this being part of the grind, we all know nothing is given. You have to earn it. And, a lot of people saw you go through the bumps in the road to get to where you guys are right now. We're going to talk about it a little bit later on the show. You guys take, a couple of these games in the next 3 games before New Year's, you're walking into conference play with a 500 record. And, you guys, from what we saw against Young Harris, you looked impressive in the scrimmage. And I totally expect Clayton State to be one of those upper echelon teams in the Peach Belt this year.
Oh, yeah. I mean, anybody that knows Coach Alexander and, his reputation and his resume, it speaks for itself. And I'm biased and, obviously I played for him, some years ago. But, there's one thing that everybody knows in this business is, he's going to have his teams ready to go regardless. So me coming on, as an assistant coach, I bring that same attitude that I had as a player. The standard is the standard, regardless of who's in the lineup or how many guys we got. Last year we played 6-7 guys, barely had enough to practice. So it was like, we didn't make any excuses. We showed up every day, and, a lot of those games we were in. So, this year we're taking the same approach, and, we're just taking it one game at a time. It's a new team. It's a new group of guys. So anybody that knows basketball knows that, it takes time to get that, that morale and that the camaraderie. But this is a connected group, and, I think going into January we're gonna be set because we play a tough schedule, and that's undeniable. Every year is like, we play a top 25 schedule every year, so our kids are going to be I say kids, but our young guys, they're going to be battle tested going into conference play. More than probably 90% of teams in the country.
I think you bring up a great point because we talked about this on the first episode. Now, with you going into year 3, you're starting to get quote unquote your guys into the system. And, we talk about this on a regular basis off air. Guys are going 10, 11 deep now. And, the drop off is not there at all. You got freshmen coming in playing quality minutes and, much to the delight, playing very well. When, we talk about Elijah, we talk about Marcus Harris, and even Kenneth Brayboy, you can see when you look at Kenneth Brayboy, you can see it's coming. You can see it. And it's just a matter of, getting that confidence and getting them some more minutes. And that's all in a matter of time. And, I always, compliment the development part that Clayton State brings. And that's where, for me, when I'm all over the city, I'm telling y'all better get down there to Clayton State and take a look. And it's been the people that have come for the first time and have seen you guys. And, first thing they say is, man, they got some pieces. You can see it. And I say, man, I told y'all, I said, give it time. And the style that Coach Alexander wants, because I had that front row seat, you can see it like this here. Like, oh, yeah, you can see he's starting to get his style because the players he's recruited fits his style now, whereas before you made some adjustments to get to where you guys are trying to get. But now I'm like, okay, yeah, he wants that up tempo. You can see it now. And that pressure that's causing turnovers, that up tempo, that's that 80, 85, 90 points a game. And quite honestly, the fans love that as well. They love that style as well. So, it's a whole new excitement. And on top of that, even when you talk to the AD and you talk to other people as well, the president, they're excited to see what you guys are building.
Yeah, we talked about this before. It's a process, and we're working through it, but we got some good young pieces. We got some good depth. We're putting together, I think, a tremendous program, one that people will really enjoy if they come out and watch. But also understand that, it's going to take a little time to put some things together, and we're doing that. That's why we play such a brutal schedule. We play a schedule to prepare us, not to give us false hope, false perception. After we finish our preseason schedule, we know where we are and what we need to do, because we play teams that challenge us, and force us to recognize who we really are. And so, and then as far as, the development piece, Andre does a tremendous job. He's one of the best in the business to me. I consider him, one of the top guys in the country when it comes to that, because he's so passionate about it. As you see through, Deuce and Baki. And, you talked about that and alluded to them earlier. I mean, Deuce last game had 9 rebounds. Baki, these are redshirt sophomores, played 1 year of basketball, and they both had 9 rebounds yesterday. Together, they had 18 rebounds, and they're just sophomores, so, it's the development, the schedule, the depth, the tempo that we're trying to play. It's all coming into play. We're trying to, get our guys to be consistent with it. And that's the challenge right now for Dre and I, to get them to be consistent with that pressure. Some days we're like really good at it. Some days we're like, do we really want to pressure? So we're trying to get our guys to be more consistent. Once we get them to do that, I think you're going to see a great brand of basketball, and you'll really enjoy it watching them play.
I couldn't agree more, especially going into as we go into conference play. I think you guys will really start to peak at that time around mid-January, going into February. You guys will start to peak, and especially against those Augustas, the USC Aikens, the North Georgias. Those are pivotal games, and it's a test so to see where you guys really stand. And, that's no slight to any other team out there, but we know Augusta is usually a perennial power. USC Aiken is tough. North Georgia is tough. And, that's not to, discredit any other team, but, to get to where you guys are trying to get, of course, got to knock off the big boys. And even with that being said, even last year, like Dre talked about earlier, with 6, 7 guys, you guys were right there in the games with Augusta. Calling the games last year, I could almost freestyle because I knew what was going to happen. Last year, the teams would jump out early and, it would be maybe a 15, 16-point lead. And I would just calmly say, this game is not over. I said, Clayton State is going to battle back. And it was almost like I'm calling the future before it happens because I knew what was going to happen. I knew that what you demanded in those players, you guys were going to make a run. And before you knew it, a 16, 17-point lead was down to 4 or was tied. It was just really getting over the hump last year. But with that depth that you have now it's a different story. It's a totally different story. And, we talked about this last week as well, Coach. Some of the play of the seniors, like I said, the way West is playing right now, as well as the newcomers, love Tyler Shirley, love Jamal Kleiss, TJ running the show as well, and to go along with the freshmen. And I want to continue to say this, the development of Muhammad Diallo is going to be the difference. It's going to be the difference.
No doubt.
I just look at this, that's why I look at this. And, every week when people ask me or call me about it, I said, man, I'm telling you all, I said, I know you all think I'm biased and that's fine. But I said, man, this is just from an evaluation standpoint, you can see the improvement. And when you can see the improvement, you almost know what's going to happen, when you get to February and you guys are fighting for that top spot. I feel completely confident that's where this thing is going. And what I'm excited for come February, the crowd will be in there jam-packed, hollering and screaming. As they say, it'll be pretty much instead of the 12th man in football, it'll be the 6th man for basketball, willing you all to victory. I'll probably barely be able to hear myself on the mic, and I'm fine with that as well, and you try to a certain standard professionalism, but deep down, you're rooting, you're like, oh man, come on, man, you got to knock that down. But of course, I can't say that on the mic. But man, I just see what you guys are doing and the excitement, and I promise you all, when you all get over that hump, watch everybody want to be Clayton State's friend. Then everybody want to be your friend. Then, Coach A.
Oh yeah, I know how it works. I remember at Aiken our first couple of years, and nobody wanted to speak to me in the grocery store. And then 2 years later, it's like I can't get out of the grocery store without 50 people stopping me and wanting to talk. We know that time is coming. Dre and I both know, and you talked about. USC Aiken, and you talked about North Georgia. What people don't realize is, it's North Georgia is taking them 4 or 5 years to get to where they are. In Aiken, it's been, I've been going from Aiken for what?
2014, 15.
7 years?
Yeah.
8 years?
8, almost 9.
8 years. I've been going from there for 8 years. And they're just getting it, really going, So it takes a while, It takes a while sometimes to get it rolling. But I think we're moving at a good pace here. I think we're developing. People got to be patient, but you can already see, our brand of basketball and our culture is changing, and for the better. It's gonna be good and it's gonna be exciting. So.
And that's a great point that you brought up because, the two people I didn't want to leave out, and they're becoming consistently great producers for you, are Keandre Bowles and Aaron Pitts. The two newcomers, they're playing well. They're playing well. And, coming into the conference, they come off the bench and give you that shot in the arm, it seems like, on a regular basis now. I always say Jamal Clyce is like the heart and soul because he wears his emotion on his sleeve, on the court and off the court. You can see it. And so, he's that emotional leader, but Keandre and Aaron are very vital pieces. It's just like TJ Stargell is, because TJ's the quarterback. That's just what he's the quarterback. And as TJ goes, as he runs this offense, as Clayton State goes as well. Elijah comes in and, man, Dre, I text you many a night saying, hey, man, he's playing beyond what I thought as a freshman. He's playing well beyond his years right now. And, I give him all the credit because, I didn't know how he was going to adjust, as a freshman. When you look at that, I'm like, okay, he's a freshman and a freshman point guard on top of that. And I was like, man, he's handling this very well. And you can just see that confidence growing in him as he continues to get out on the court. And like I said, for you guys as coaches, as that starts to continue to grow, he's earning more minutes. And you can see it by the box score. He's earning more minutes, and he deserves them. He definitely deserves them.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that I tell people all the time is just knowing Coach A for a long time and being a player under him is like, he'll play whoever. So, me being a young coach, sometimes I'm like, I may have to get these older guys a shot a little quicker than the young guy. But, that's one thing I always admire about coaches. He going with whoever's playing hard. It don't matter if you're on scholarship, you a walk on. So that's one of the things that, our kids, we pour into all of them, and the best group is going to play. The best group is going to play. And, Elijah came in, kid that really wasn't recruited, highly recommended from, some trustworthy sources, one former players, a coach, and another guy that played in the league as well. Came from a really good high school, but just didn't wow people, I guess. But he worked his butt off this summer and, put on 12 to 15 pounds since he's been on campus. So it's like, what more can you ask for from a freshman?
You really can. You really can.
I'll tell you guys both a story. I haven't told Dre this, but the reason why I don't have a problem with freshmen. If they're going to work hard and they got a good attitude, I'm going to give them a shot because you can see some things in Elijah. And this is a story. I was at Aiken. We were ranked in like top 4 or 5 in the country. And Dre's been a part of that Aiken-Augusta game. Dave, you ain't seen nothing like it was back then.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm talking 5,000 fans.
Crazy.
Wow.
Standing room only. Standing room only. Okay. And we're playing Augusta. I think they're like probably number, 8 or 9 in the country, and we're probably number 4 or 5, somewhere close to that in the country. 5,000 people in there, standing room only. Dre's been a part of it, like I said. And it's the last seconds of the game. And I call timeout because they're going to foul us. They're going to foul us. So I said, okay, get Sterling in the game. Sterling Council. He's a high school coach now, doing the second year, doing a great job down in South Carolina, Camden.
Big time.
And Sterling was a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, put Sterling in the game. My assistants looked at me and said, what? I said, put Sterling in the game. I want him to get fouled. They said, Coach, he's a freshman who hasn't touched the floor. I said, put Sterling in the game. Sterling is the one that's going to get fouled. And Sterling's shooting those free throws. People in the stands, you know how them fans were Aiken. He had a lot of fans. I mean, they're like, what's going on? Sterling, he's putting a freshman in the game who hadn't touched the floor now. Now I'm telling you, it's 5,000 people in there, standing room only. I put Sterling in. Sterling gets fouled. Sterling hits both of those free throws. We win the game. People said, he knows what the hell he's talking about. I said, let me tell you. They said, the newspaper said, why did you put Sterling Cancel in the game? I said, I stay after practice every day with Sterling, and we play, that game I played with the guys, 5 on the line, 7 on the line or whatever.
Yeah.
And I said, I watched this kid literally hit 60 free throws in a row. And guess who's the Peace Belt's all-time free throw leader?
Oh, wow.
Sterling Cancel.
Okay.
And so I don't have a problem with freshmen, when they're doing their job. They deserve an opportunity. I'm going to give them an opportunity. I'm going to show them that. I think as a result, you're going to see a future all-conference kid, potential All-American kid in Elijah, Bray Boy, and some of our young kids, even Marcus Harris. So I don't have a problem playing young people like Andre said. I mean, his team, when Andre played for me, I think there were 5 freshmen. All 5 of them played.
All 5.
Like you said, I mean, because both of you all see every day in practice who's trending up, who's trending down. And like I said, this is not high school or middle school anymore. Whoever practices well earns those minutes. And then if you go out and practice well, and then you produce on the court just like you did in practice, there you have it. Another great example, Marcus Harris. Marcus Harris is getting a lot more confidence, and you can see it. And, like I said, sometimes it's the excitement in me, when I'm on the mic. And, I'll talk to Todd about this all the time. I said, you can see Marcus gaining confidence with every game, even to the point where Marcus is ready to have a heat check sometime where he's getting 2-3 shots. I'm like, okay, Marcus, I see you out there. He's in his moment. He's in his moment.
He definitely had that heat check, made me think twice. I was like, that's a crazy heat check. I might have to put him on over here. Think about that one.
Marcus was in his zone at the time because he had hit 2 critical 3-pointers.
Yeah.
He hit 2 critical ones. And I was like, man, I was so happy for him because, as we all know, sometimes it takes time to adjust from, college basketball is faster, stronger, more physical out there. And you can see Marcus starting to, get his bearings. And I was like, okay, Marcus, I see it. I see, with me being right there, I mean, I see just like what you guys see. And I'm like, man, I'm so happy for the kid. Just like with Wes, man, Wes is playing, but he's playing like a senior right now. He's playing like a senior that you guys can depend on.
Yeah, he's doing a good job. We still want to work with him on a few things. I was telling him today, I think it was today, maybe, was it today, Coach? I told him I want to work with him on, putting that ball on the floor a little better. At 6'9", he's used to just being just a shooter.
Yeah.
But he's trying to expand that, and we want to help him do that. So we're going to work with him a little bit more on putting that ball on the floor, attacking that basket, attacking that block, and fighting for it, getting a good position and trying to finish. So we're going to work with him on that, add to his game. But he's doing a tremendous job, playing consistent, much more consistent than last year, man.
Yes.
Much more confident than last year. And not only that, he's really trying to play defense. I mean, I probably could still score 30 on him. I probably could still score 30 on him, but he's gotten a little better.
I mean, Wes is blocking 1 or 2 shots a game now.
Yeah,
and
I think he's
at least 2
shots a game, I believe. 2 blocks a game.
And you wouldn't expect that, but like you said, he's playing D. He's putting the effort in for rebounds as well. So, I'm looking at this like, man, this is a really good team that you guys have because, everybody's adding something. And the other person I'm waiting on, I know it's coming, so it's a patience thing because he's still new, is Kennedy Brown. I'm waiting for Kennedy to have that breakout game. I see, you're giving him the minutes. I'm just waiting for him to break out and say, okay, this is my time, per se.
Yeah. And it's Dre can probably speak a little bit more on this because he works out with him a lot too, but it's a confidence thing right now. He was at Omaha. They put him down, they didn't give him a lot of confidence, and he's still working through that. So, I think once he gains some confidence and has some success, put a string of 2 or 3 games together, and he has some success. I believe that you'll see a different player. At least we hope. So, I'll let Dre talk a little bit more about him if he wants to.
No, he has all the physical tools. He's definitely capable, extremely athletic. We haven't even seen his best basketball yet, like you said. So, he's a work in progress, and he works, and the majority of our kids work. So that's a major plus for us because we got guys that they want to get in the gym, they want to be in the gym, they want to get better, and they want to really make the most out of their opportunity development wise. So it's a huge plus. And going back to Wes, I think him, Deuce, and Baki, I think just experiencing what we experienced last year, especially for Wes, I think that helped him tremendously because he was forced to defend last year. He was forced to guard, Tyshawn Crawford from Augusta at times where you had to get tough and one of the best bigs in the country. So when you put in that position where there ain't nobody else to call it, you can't call nobody else's number. So it's like, hey, you got to defend, man. So I think he's carrying that what he learned from last year over to this year. He's doing a really good job, and we're proud of him.
Yeah, very proud of him.
The other guy that's been lights out, and we've talked about and agreed on it, is Tyler Shirley. Man, Tyler, he has all league potential. He definitely has all league potential. You can see it. Yes, he's a transfer from South Alabama, but what I see in that young man, you guys got to steal right there. You got to steal.
Yeah, I like to say we definitely got a blessing in that one. And, because he is not only is he a tremendous basketball player, and he's going to be an all-league player in this league, but he's a tremendous person. High character young man, very high character. He has gained a lot of respect from me. He's always, in the gym before practice, always in the gym after practice, and that sets a standard when your best players are, the ones that are putting some time in before and after practice. Wes, Deuce, him, those are the guys that no matter what, you look up and, guys are leaving practice and you still see Wes and Deuce, Ty Shirley, Jamal when he wasn't hurt. Jamal, you always saw him, Baki, those are the guys you see when practice is over still out there saying, well, I can get up another 50 more shots or so. And they're doing that. And that's going to pay off, man. Yes, it's going to pay off. When things get tough and you hit adversity, your training is what comes through. Kobe always, said that. Your training is what will come through. And so I tell them, keep training. You may not see it right now, but keep training. When that game come along, that training is going to come through. And so we're very thrilled to have those guys, Ty Shirley, Wes, Deuce Baki, all the guys you mentioned, the young guys, Eli, and Marcus and Kenneth Brayboy. So very blessed to have all of them. They're going to be great together.
And one of the other things I wanted to talk about as well, we're coming towards the end of the exhibition / non-conference season. As we get into the Peach Belt Conference, as we know, the Peach Belt Conference is one of the top D2 conferences in the country, and at any given day, you guys can knock off somebody, or somebody can knock off Clayton State, which makes the Peach Belt Conference, from top to bottom, one of the better conferences in the country. What's your expectations as we go into the Peach Belt Conference play?
My expectation is that we're going to compete, and we're going to compete at the highest level. Our expectations is, to play the best that we can possibly play in every single game we play, but we're only taking on one game at a time. So, as far as a team, we're not even locked in on conference yet. We're locked in on Barry. Mm-hmm. And so, that's who we're locked in on. That's who we're taking. That's who's up on my computer right now. We're locked in on them. Conference, when it does come around, we're going to take the same approach, one game at a time. The first one is North Georgia. Our goal is to go get it, and go play as hard as we possibly can and be the best that we can possibly be for those 40 minutes in that particular game. So that's our approach, Dave. One game at a time. We're not, what we found is, our guys, okay, we want to make the playoffs, we want to be in the top 8. And you get down close to the end of the season and you're fighting for that last spot and you lose a game, our guys start losing hope. And then, we were just, building the program, and our guys, we would lose out. We could have finished in the top 8 2 years in a row. Our first year, we were real close to finishing in the top 8. And, we started talking about it a little too soon. So our focus this year is one game at a time and be the best that we can possibly be in that one game. Our immediate hope is to get some guys back healthy. Jamal Clyce is a key component to what we do offensively. And like I said, he's like the heart and soul of this team. He's the emotional leader, and he's out, and he's been out. And that's, we're still making adjustments from that. That's 3 or 4 offensive rebounds, 2 or 3 offensive rebounds a game. That's 4 or 5 big stops because he defends. That's a few other rebounds, some great screens, and an experienced guy being on the floor. So, we're going to lock in on trying to get him healthy and get him back. Hopefully TJ get him. He hasn't been healthy. And he's just, been struggling a little bit. Got to try to get him going. Well, I'm excited to see what it's going to be like. I don't know about Dre, but I'm excited to see what it's going to be like when we can get 3 or 4 of our guys back. We haven't played with a full team since Miles. We haven't played with a full team. And it'd be nice to see what it looked like if we had all our guys.
It's coming. It's definitely coming. And to speak, just to expound a little bit on what you just said, like this weekend coming up, you got 2 tough opponents coming up with Barry and Florida Southern. I mean, Florida Southern is another traditionally strong team, usually ranked in the top 25. So, you got your hands full with both of those schools as well.
It doesn't stop. Barry, it's going to be a challenge. Anytime you go to Florida and you play those Sunshine State teams who are, fully funded and you're on the road, you're in Florida, it's tough because it's just it's very you definitely know that you are the away team. Let me just say it that way to be politically correct. You definitely know that you are the away team, and they let you know that
But
real quick
that
when you go
prepares
up
you
and
though.
down.
Like
Yeah,
you said it earlier, that prepares you for conference play, and then, as you say, you're battle tested. Then when you're against those hostile environments like that.
you battle test. That's why last year when we only had 8 players, 7 some nights and 8, a lot of nights, we were still in games because our guys were battle tested. So,
Top
we
15
go,
schedule.
yeah, we go against Augusta at home with 8 players, and I think it was like tied
No
at
bigs. No bigs.
with
And
no bigs at
no
all.
bigs, and it was what? It was either tied or you
It
guys
was
were
either
down
tied
one
or
at
a
halftime.
2-point.
Yeah.
You guys were right there, right there.
Yeah.
Dip was going crazy at halftime.
And you came back and then you played Aiken. We played Aiken at Aiken, and it was like a 4-point game. And
Mhm.
we lost a lot of games by 2 and 3 possessions with 7 and 8 players. Is because we're battle tested. We just didn't have enough juice to get over the hump. By the end of the game, we were worn out. Well, this year we got a little bit more depth, but we got some injured guys, so we got to get those guys back and get them back in playing shape. So I'm hoping, my hope is that by Albany, we have everybody back. That's my hope, so that everybody can play in that game. We can see what it's like, get our guys, and then head into conference that next week.
Agreed. And Albany's no pushover either. Let's not
They're not no
forget them
pushover either. They're gonna be tough too.
Yeah, they're gonna be tough. And so, people gotta understand, like you said it best, like there's no nights off. So people gotta be ready at any given time of what's getting ready to happen.
Got to be ready, and so we're I think we're being prepared, and we're hanging in there. And like I said last night, I saw a lot of maturity. We got down. We were up by 11 points. Next thing you know, we were down 8. Our guys, our staff never panicked. Our guys never panicked. We kept saying, "Here's what's gonna work. Here's what's gonna work." We made a few adjustments and some changes at halftime, and praise God, it worked.
Absolutely. And to speak on Albany knocked out Florida A&M.
Yeah, and like I said, Dre and I said, we got to be crazy to schedule like this every year.
I disagree because come February, don't nobody want to play y'all.
Yeah, yeah, it's tough.
I mean, yeah, November and December is tough. There's no question. Whenever I see the schedule from you guys, I'm like, ooh. By the time you get to January, you're like, okay. And I'm also interested to see what USC Beaufort looks like with them just starting their program and, joining the PSAC as well. So I want to see what they look like as well. So it's going to be an interesting next 2, 3, 4 weeks, basically, coming up for you guys.
Yeah, but we're excited and we're ready to handle the task.
Oh, definitely. There's no question, you guys. You can see what's being built, and it's right there. You guys are on the cusp, as we would say, right there on the cusp of making it happen. And the thing I like about this, you're bringing that culture. I can't say that enough. You guys are building that culture at Clayton State that makes this a place that kids are going to want to come to. And quite honestly, with the new rules, Dre, that you sent me today with transfers, possibly getting that second transfer for 4 years.
Hey, boy, this thing's about to go crazy.
Well, you know what that means for both of you all. You all already get inundated with emails and texts and phone calls of kids that want to come to Clayton State or have interest. Oh, you might as well double or triple that now.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It's like, you already get calls like crazy in text, you know. Heck, I got 3 texts today. I don't even know how they got my number. I was like, who is this and how did they get my number?
So it's coming, but in the same sense, you know, and this is one thing I just wanted to touch before we leave. It seems like the formula now, even though you guys buck the system a little bit, the formula for a lot of these coaches now is they want to win with older, experienced players. And with this portal basically giving you a second shot at, you know, in the portal, I mean, I'm kind of so on it because there's some guys that work out beautifully in the portal, and then there's other guys, as we say sometimes, there's a reason why they're in the portal as well.
Yeah.
So you know, it's, you know, it can turn out to be something beautiful, but it also can turn into something that could kill a team in the same sentence as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'd say for us, we got a huge advantage because coach was, and we went back to the Hall of Fame dinner at USC Aiken a couple months ago to see Ron Zimmerman, you know, our guy Ron Zimmerman get inducted into the Hall of Fame. But, you know, there were a couple guys that was like, you know, coach was the portal before the portal. So like, you know, if anybody's versed on transfers, is this guy right here for sure, because he's been doing it before it was even popular, you know. So we don't just take any kid, you know. We do our research and you know, we try to do our due diligence, and they have to fit, you know, our culture as well. You know, it's not always about what they can do athletically and what their stats look like. You know, they got to fit that system in our culture. And you know, I don't think the portal is always the answer, but it definitely helps to have that option be there, because you know it's a grown man game, man.
Oh yeah.
It's a grown man game. D2 is a little different, man. You know, and I'm just from experience as a player, man. Like it's when I was in the league, it was guys Power 5, Oklahoma, you know, like everywhere. So it was, you know, on any given night, you just don't know who you're about to be playing against. So, you know.
Because I think when you were playing, didn't we play against the kid that transferred from, he was at Georgia, wasn't that transferred from South Carolina?
Yeah.
Like 6'11"?
We had a kid from South Carolina. There was
he
a
was
kid
like
in the league
6'11".
From Oklahoma at Flagler. He was
a kid
6'9".
A kid at Oklahoma at Flagler was
6'9" big.
Yeah.
Like, and then like we don't even got to talk about the guard play, because the guard play is just, there's no better league.
It was incredible.
Like,
and what was amazing was, Dave, and I'm not, you know, trust me, Dre will tell you, I'm one of the most humble people you're going to meet. But when I came to this league, it was a JUCO league.
Okay.
And everybody was getting JUCO players.
Okay.
And so when I came to the league, honest truth, I said, okay, let's get, if everybody's getting JUCO kids, let's get JUCO kids. And what I found was JUCO kids wouldn't transfer credits in to Aiken and were having a hard time graduating and finishing school. And I was like, these kids are not graduating. You know, we got to figure something else out. So the league was not a Division I transfer league at all. Then we at Aiken started getting Division I transfers because we said, okay, they already have credits that are college transferable, more than like, because some JUCOs, they just don't take. Some universities don't take their courses. So we said, let's go to D1 route. And we started going to D1 route, and obviously we turned the program around real quick. We went from 9 wins to 27 wins and number 4 in the country. And it was all Division I transfers. And so then the league sort of Next thing you know, everybody in the league was getting D1 transfers.
Yeah, trailblazer.
Yeah, so
I just look at this and, it's going to be so interesting, but, we both talk about this on a regular basis. College basketball starting to lean towards older, experienced players. Like,
yeah.
yes, they do take JUCO players, but now, we're still clearing out COVID. So we still have guys that are 23, 24 that have a year or two of eligibility left. And those kids are appealing to coaches because they're older. Some of them have 4 or 5 years of college experience now, with that COVID year. So, that counted as a season, but it didn't count against their eligibility. So that's attractive. So when it comes down to those games that are 4 minutes left, 3 minutes left, they've been in those positions before. So they're not going to panic. They're not going to buckle. It's just they might have been somewhere else, but that's advantageous for a lot of coaches. And, a lot of times when you have those guards that can still operate in 3-4 minutes in front of a crowd that's, raunchy, just for a better term. And it's like they don't miss a beat. Coaches are going to go for that every time. Whereas, sometimes now you're different, but some coaches don't feel comfortable putting a freshman in that type of position.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to open this portal thing. You know what? We'll definitely come back to this episode. Hear this first. I hate to say this. I think we're going to see 4,000 this year in the portal.
You know what? We're going to remember that, and we'll come back because you're right. It was already at what 2,000, right? 2,500.
It was more than 25. Yeah, we were getting close to 3.
It was 2,500. So now you're going to see probably 4,000. Because here's the deal: we used to benefit. D2 used to benefit because what happened was D1s didn't transfer D1 because they couldn't. They would have to sit.
Yep.
No one wants
So
to sit.
now, if they do this and they just transfer as multiple, honestly, you're going to be getting a lot of D1s going D1s, and so it could hurt us a little bit. Could hurt us, with a transfer unless you're getting an Atlanta kid, which what we try to do is, get Atlanta kids coming back home. And, the Ty Shorties, Jamal Clyces, try to get them to, come back, stay around, and give back to Atlanta, so, but man, I say 4,000. I'm with you.
Okay.
Just to have a number, I'm gonna say 3,500.
Okay. So Dre, I said 4. Coach said 35. What you think?
I'm right there. I'm like 3750.
Okay.
Yeah, 37.
Okay.
We'll see what happens.
Hey, listen, I'll clip this part too because we all got numbers in it, and by the time now the only difference this year, isn't there the deadline's a little earlier this year, correct?
Yeah,
but that may adjust the number a little bit because the number, but there's no live period for April, so
I mean the way that these rulings are going right now, a lot of this stuff may be wiped out.
Yeah,
because of these lawsuits and dealing with NLI money and stuff like that. So who knows what the changes are going to be by the time the spring rolls around.
You're right. Yeah. You're right. I mean, because what you said today, I was just like, man, this is going to.
I couldn't believe that.
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, on the flip side of that means people are going to be trying to visit Clayton State on a regular basis. Y'all going to be busy with visits every week.
We have to shut it down, man.
Yeah, I mean, but you know what? I take that in all seriousness any day of the week because people are looking at you as a legitimate stop now, not, people having this crazy inquiry. Oh, I can go there and quote unquote kill. Man, sit down with that.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, don't even get me started on that. That just
No.
That just takes me there,
No.
because I know you guys know there's so many people that are trying to send you kids. They don't know what you do, what you have. They don't even approach you all in the right way to say, hey, can I bring a kid down there to open run to see how he fares against what you have?
Yeah.
They don't even approach you like that. They're saying, oh, I got this kid. He's a starter from day one.
A day one start. And I'm like, do you know Todd Shirley, Deuce Harper? Do you know the people we have starting? Like, these are future pros.
But when you mention those two names, you know what they're going to say? Who?
Yeah.
But they know your program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? And that's a whole nother show for me, because I said at some point I need to put tutorial information out there to say this is how you approach a coach. You don't know if you have a day one starter. Ask him, can you come participate in open runs? And that way he can evaluate you and say, okay, he might be a fit for this program. Or he'd be like, hey, now he might want to go NAI. And we all know NAI may not be the answer. He might want to go D3. And in these days, shoot, D3 might be not be the answer for some of these guys.
Yeah.
It's a privilege to play at the college level, man.
Absolutely.
It's hard.
Absolutely.
It's hard. And, our league is, like I said, I know because I played in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, the league is tough.
Yes, it is.
The year in and year out. Like, it's consistently tough. And, you got guys, JUCO All-Americans, and got D1 drop downs that don't even play on some of these teams across the league. You know what I mean? So it's not sweet.
And to touch on what you're saying, these guys that are all conference, when they're all peach belt, we all know it's a safe bet. If they're all peach belt and they have any eligibility left, those D1s will be calling their phones.
Yep.
For sure.
Will be calling their phones.
For sure.
And that's just where we're at. So, a lot of people don't understand, like, that's the type of quality players that not only Clayton State has, the Peach Belt, the PSAC, the Lone Star, the MIAA, California's D2 league. There's some good D2 players all over the country.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would say we had more pros in 2 years than a lot of programs at any level.
Yeah.
Regardless of level.
So we talked about that last week, Dre. Me and Coach Alexander talked about that last week. You know who I forgot, Coach? Ricardo Sams. That's who I forgot.
Yeah.
That's who I forgot. We went through all of them, Dre, and I said, I know I'm missing one. And I was in the bed, laying down, looking at the ceiling. Ricardo Sams. So that made it 7, Coach, if I'm not mistaken. That made it 7.
Dre know more than me, but better than me.
Is it 7, Dre? In the last 2 years?
6 in 2 years.
6 in 2 years. Okay.
Yeah.
6 in 2 years, because we haven't finished this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what it was. Okay.
But regardless, 6 or 7, I mean, you got D1 programs that don't have those numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a credit to just the foundation. You know what I mean? I like, coaches had 35 plus pros. So it's just a recipe, and just adding some seasoning to it, different flavor. You know what I'm saying? But it's a recipe he's had for a long time. And, these guys that come to us, they're going to come to us. They're going to get better. That's one thing. Guys don't leave us not getting better.
If they choose to follow their plan.
Yeah.
If they don't choose to follow that, they don't get better. So
yeah.
But that's very seldom that we have guys that just don't buy into, getting in the gym and, getting better.
Well, it's proven. That's the biggest thing. It's not like you're selling dreams. It's proven. And when you have numbers to back up what's proven, as a parent, if I had a child that was bucking the system, I'm like, Coach, hold on a second. Let me talk to him for a second. Let me take him over in the locker room. Let me talk to him. Man, you absolutely crazy if you're not going to follow this man's plan.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense because I can
honest.
see if you guys were selling something and there wasn't one person and you're saying, oh, we're trying to get there. Okay. I can see kids being apprehensive, but when you have multiples, there's nothing to talk about. It's like, if you don't follow this plan, either you're hard-headed or this is not the place for you, or basketball is not the thing that you're trying to do.
I think the biggest thing too is like we're not getting kids or guys that's already proven. Like, you know, Ricardo Lynch, 6'8" guard, our first year, he really didn't play a lot wherever he wasn't.
He didn't play a lot at Rogers.
He didn't play a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, when he came to us, we worked with him. He was committed, you know, and he took advantage of the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? But you know, we give guys the confidence to be the best version of themselves, like you said, like Coach said. Actually, you know, as long as they follow the blueprint, it's a no brainer. You know, he gets
proven.
calls. Yeah, he gets calls. You know, all the time from agents or GMs in Europe. You know, and it's just a matter of if guys are ready to make that step, and you know, that's what we try to do. Try to challenge guys to make that step. You know, not only to make our program better, but, you know, to help them, you know, succeed after they leave us. So,
absolutely. Well, listen, this whole season, well, we have so many topics to talk about. And, you know, what we just talked about right now, man, that's material and content that needs to be clipped because, you know, a lot of these kids have their own agendas and their own ideas. Some of these AAU coaches have their own agendas and their own ideas. Some of these parents have their own agendas and their own ideas. And if you're not going to follow the plan, listen, it's going to show that you have other agendas and other ideas. And we're in a situation now with the portal. Listen, you're not on a 4-year scholarship. You are year to year. Now, I'm not saying you guys are going to kick them out. By no means am I saying that. What I'm saying is you got to understand every year you have to get better. Or in 2 or 3 years, if you're not showing value, I don't care what program you're at. This is what it is. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you're a 4.0 guy and you're, you know, headed towards graduation, yes. But what I'm getting at is if you're a problem, you're a headache, you're late, you don't want to put in the extra work. You don't want to put in the development time. And then you want to pout because you're not playing. You are expendable.
Definitely.
That's where we're at. That's where we're at. Hey, man, listen, I love talking to both you guys. You know, half the time, Clayton State is my second home. I'm about to start paying rent down there in a minute. But, you know, you guys, I appreciate you so much. And, man, just building on this show and, you know, taking some of the content. So you kids that are watching, you parents that are watching, you AAU coaches that are watching, please listen and listen well to a lot of this stuff that's being said, because this is free game for a lot of you guys of how to approach coaches, how to get seen and noticed. And this is also to introduce you to a program that's not up and coming, that is a testament of producing pros. And that's where we're at. So if this is what you want to do, watch the show on a weekly basis. These are 2 high-level professionals that I have the privilege of talking to every week. And they're going to drop knowledge and gems every week. So we'll do this again next week, Dre. You know you family. You can come on anytime you want. You know, with Coach. You know, I know little fella keeps you busy, so you got another job as it is. So you know, man, I appreciate both you guys, and We'll see you guys next week. We'll see you after the Florida trip when you guys come back from Florida. So we'll go ahead and have one in the middle of the week again after the Florida trip before
next week sometime.
Before the Albany State game.
Okay.
Okay. Well, that'll do it for tonight. I want to thank everybody for watching the show. Hey, we're going to keep building this show with Coach A, and